So there are 4 months exactly left in my challenge. I'm still the uncontrolled freedom fighter I was when I started making my videos back in 2009. So this date is really important. There's 4 months left in my top martial artist challenge. And it's been almost exactly 7 years since Illuminati Part 1 on my Platinum Local channel. Now back then, keep in mind it was before going to the psych ward, and the name was because of my fascination with the gang culture, and not because I thought I was actually crazy. After reviewing 3,000 videos of my behavior, reflecting on my behavior, and doing more observation than anyone else when it comes to me and my behavior, I've come to the unavoidable conclusion that there's nothing wrong with me, that I have superior behavior, and that the righteous indignation I display is exactly consistent with a high moral standard. The world would be a better place if I was a dictator, if I was the emperor, the supreme commander of the nation. There's a lot of sick people out here in this country. I urge all the foreigners to think carefully if it's worth it to come to America, the land of corruption, the land of evil. They accuse me of treason and sedition and things that you would associate with members of the military. I didn't have a choice of what country I was born in, and they are actually making it difficult for me to get a passport, my passport renewed, to leave. And I don't intend to leave because my enemies are here. It would be very foolish for me to leave this country where the CIA and the military are very afraid of what I may do, and go to a country where they have more plausible deniability when it comes to what may happen to me. I'm a man of God, a man of honor. Their treachery is disgusting. The way they turn a blind eye to all the threats against me, all the gang stalking, the covert drugging. I mean, these are actually actions, not words, against me. But the moment I say something in a way that they can justify taking me to the psych ward, they do. Complete double standard, complete hypocrisy. The fact that I'm an uncontrolled political activist really irks them. The fact that I am black makes it so that they are full of rage. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. In America, the people in charge only care about public opinion when it comes to their ability to be praised by groups of people. They know that there are people such as myself who are disgusted by them and even wish to hurt them. They only care about public opinion when it comes to how people see them. And in a capitalist society where people are pretty much forced to bootlick to them, that is how they like it. They get sick pleasure out of having sex with women who are revolted by them. They find them revolting, right? But they have sex with them because they're so consumed with greed. There's a certain sadistic and sick pleasure associated with that kind of sexual intercourse. It's like, well, this woman doesn't really respect me. She isn't really completely in love with me. She's kind of being forced to do this. It's almost a form of rape. And they get a lot of pleasure from that, I assure you. And if a psychologist were being honest, they'd say the same thing. If that wasn't the case, they would go about things differently, now would they? Now wouldn't they? Think about it. They like things how they are. They have planned it meticulously so that it would end up being this way. The grand architect of the New World Order likes it this way. His assistant social architects like it this way. The social planners, the social designers, the social engineers. I've come across cowardly liberals that pretend that there's no such thing as a social planner. As if being a city planner is not a job. As if you have to consider as if you don't have to consider social life when it comes to city planning. I mean, absolute stupidity. I'd go as far as to say that over 99% of people who disagree with me have very low understandings of life, very low. Their different understandings are pathetic, really. They're very stupid. I mean, when you really look at conformity, right, it's more than just a lack of wisdom. It's a lack of common sense, really. Conforming to a pedophile culture of rampant materialism, betrayal, dishonor, ignobility, and indecorous forms of interactions with other humans, of course. These harmful social interactions have contributed to the downfall of humanity, and now I give it maybe a few hundred years before things go to hell. Tops. Could be wrong, but I doubt it. It is almost as if the people in charge want society to go to hell, and they have about as much love for their future descendants as they have for their ancestors. They disgrace their ancestors, they dishonor them, and it's the same thing they're doing for their future seeds, for the future generations. They're like, we don't care about you. You're somewhere down the line, you're the ones who are going to have to cross that bridge when you get there. We don't care about you. The same way they treat their ancestors. They know their ancestors wouldn't have approved of their pathetic, barbaric, savage, and despicable behavior. But they continue to do it anyway. I would like you all to remember this. The reason why I am the top martial artist is because of my superior fighting philosophy. I'm not the tallest, probably not the fastest, but I'm among the fastest, and I got there because of my superior fighting philosophy, mind you. I'm not the most trained. Don't have anyone in my corner. It was because of my superior fighting philosophy. And when it comes to spiritual warfare and philosophy in general, I have a superior philosophy. These people cannot say the same thing. They cannot say they became rich because of their superior philosophy. They got rich by ripping people off and taking advantage of their extended network. They had millions of people literally helping them out, to varying degrees. I have nobody helping me out. And yet here I am, the top of my field, the top at what I find the most important. They cannot say the same thing. So if one is to balance their scale, they must come to the conclusion that I am superior to the elite. I have a superior philosophy, and I deserve my rightful place more than all those ninnies together deserve their rightful places, which is definitely not where they are now. Definitely much beneath where they are now. This is really common sense, really. If you don't see it my way, you're really stupid. And let's face it, your complex is impeding your progress. It is impairing your judgment, and I abhor the perfidious, rapacious, conniving little devils that you have become. Do the right thing. Stop being despicable, conformist cowards. Stop playing follow the leader like a little kid. Stop being bitches. Stop being weaklings. Stop pretending that if A doesn't equal B, that magically you're going to make it equal B anyway. Let's face it, all people are only born equal in the eyes of God as far as having a clean slate. They're not physically equal. No two people are. They're not mentally equal. No two people are. Only spiritually at the beginning. And after that, things change. There's mental conditioning. There's physical conditioning. There's spiritual conditioning. Things change. One of the greatest lies that America pushes is that we're all equal. We certainly aren't equal. We're not even treated the same. And what they're going for is not true equality. It's deceit. Let me tell you the highest form of equality. If someone has $2, for example, it is worth more. He has more money than the guy who has $1. You don't say, well, their money is all worth the same because they're equal. No, that's not how it works. True equality is using an equal measure, an equal scale for each person. Mind, body, and soul. Therefore, women will never be truly equal to men. They're different. And what they excel in tends to be different. We are not equal. We have natural roles. There is a natural order. And it has nothing to do with race. And if it did, I assure you, black people would be on top as the original image of God and as the highest performing people as a group when you consider everything that is hindering them and all the privilege and all the advantages other races have. But I don't see it that way. Every man is his own man, and that is part of Igbo culture as well. And it's really a truth. One finds that in most aspects of Igbo culture, you find universal truths. It doesn't matter who your father is. When I say my dad and my mother are brain surgeons, because I was raised by people who demanded a higher level of mental conditioning and schooling from me. Not because I'm genetically superior. Nobody is. Mind, body, and soul has everything to do with conditioning. And there's only a small genetic component. The only exception is people who are born developmentally challenged and with brain damage and mutations and things of this nature. Let's face it. I have earned the right to be a leader. The leaders we have now are conformist cowards that have earned the scorn, the disrespect, and the distrust from society, especially the most righteous men in it. I am Chukwuemeka, the top martial artist, the best martial artist, and I'm being persecuted for my political views by people who want to pretend that actions don't speak louder than words, and that actions don't speak louder than thoughts. You might think you're a good person, but if you're conforming, if you're shallow, if you're a gold digger, you're not. Actions determine who we are. It has been said that character is what one does when the lights are out or when no one's looking, paraphrasing. Absolutely. Absolutely. And need I remind you that a lot less people have been watching my videos than watch the presidential debates and all this stuff, I have true character. I have true honor. And I promise you all, if you look up to me, you are much better off in life, mind, body, and soul, than if you look up to anyone else. And I'm going to address one last thing and I'm done. Yes, it is true. If there was no God, I would rape and chop up women. And I wouldn't hesitate to do so. And I would go to great lengths to get away with it. Anticipating that they would set me up, I would go off the radar. It's true, I would kill a lot of people in a very ruthless manner, and I would torture them first. Because that is what is fair in the absence of God. In the absence of God defining what is fair, punish your enemies by all means. Kill your enemies. There's no heaven anyway. What does a person gain, right, by gaining the world and losing their soul? Well, if you don't have a soul to lose, then what the hell? Punish them. You got one chance. You have one life. And I do not regret saying that. I was right. But as things are now, you must follow the morality in the Bible.